Greetings and welcome to VALO U. I'm Xelaadryth and I'll be your instructor for today. Today's class is Tactics 252, Concise Callouts. Let's break down what makes up good comms in order of typical importance. First off is enemy positions. This allows teammates to instantly react and fight back, pre-aim areas while primed to trade, or safely reposition to better locations. General map regions have names that can be viewed with M and usually go from attacker spawn to lobby to main or long and then site. There are also numerous specific unwritten callouts that take form organically. For instance, people typically just use the objects in the area, such as double boxes, bricks, logs, etc. Ground materials are also sometimes used, like sand, grass, or water. High areas tend to be called heaven, and the areas beneath them, hell. If the site has an obvious default plant spot, default is also a pretty common location callout. Teams that play together sometimes come up with their own callouts, for instance wormhole, gangplank, and Z. Next up is enemy numbers. It's important to be specific. When on defense listening to an enemy rush, at least 3A main is a much better callout than just they're A, or some A, or a lot A, or all A, especially if you don't actually know if they're all A. Using at least is a very powerful phrasing to let teammates come up with their own deductions on the situation based on prior conditioning. While position is usually the most important info, it's more natural in English to give numbers first, like 2 showers, which is only one extra syllable of delay. Calling multiple dangerous locations quickly can be important though, such as calling heaven and showers 2 showers. Next up is specific agents, which includes their weapon, damage, name, and abilities. Calling out an operator or shotgun can be extremely important, warning teammates away from peeking into gun disadvantage. Calling out an enemy rifle on their save round can also be important for similar reasons. When a teammate dies, common comms will consist of location and damage of the enemy, if any. Heaven, Cypher Heaven, lit 60. Calling out util is super important, and this goes for both enemy util as well as your own. Flashing us in or tossing I lets people know that they should get their guns up and be ready to push. Calling out enemy util can be helpful for teammates to know what smokes to expect when they arrive, how many flashes enemies have left, etc. Another huge benefit of calling enemy util though is that it lets teammates deduce additional information. Let's say you're on defense and you say, at least 2A, Skydog, Sova Dart, I hear Reyna too, perhaps from distinguishing her healed footsteps. When a brim smoke comes down heaven 2, your teammates can deduce that at least 4 enemies are A, despite you only giving fragmented specific info individually. At least 4A, KJ unknown, the call is revised. Once you have info on almost everyone, it becomes quicker to mention the agent that you don't have info on. The same is also true of locations. On pushed out B, they're most likely A. If you know where the entire enemy team is, you could also calm that to save some mindshare. All A, can knife out, take space. Combining damage info can also be important. Mentioning that someone's at 30 probably isn't worth it, but once someone else says Omen at 90, you can amend it with Omen 120, aim body. When time passes, information becomes stale and phrasing becomes very important. 2 worsewers could have moved. No audio or all quiet are also excellent to repeat at intervals during a quiet round. Last seen mid can also be helpful, at least allowing allies to deduce likely play patterns from that original position. Now that we have all the info, how do we cut it down to be concise? The goal is to match the comms with the active threat and urgency of the situation, repeating or cutting info as needed. If there's only one enemy left, then calling them out with a repeated close left doesn't really risk drowning out any info since there's no other enemies to be wary of. Tone and pace matters a lot. Faster, louder comms imply urgency. If info is not urgent, save it for when possible threats are gone. For instance, comms like Jet last seen mid with op, lit 90, Brim only has 1 smoke left, can wait until action dies down. Avoid complaining or non-game related talk as it just clutters comms. You could also try to shorten long or uncertain phrasing like, I think that they might be showers, and instead just say, care showers. When you find yourself monologuing, think about how you can shorten, simplify, and better prioritize what's actually important info for your teammates. Now on to clutch etiquette. When your teammate is the last alive, give the last piece of unique info you might have, like enemy position and damage, and then shut up. Anything you hear, they can hear too, so only calm if it's obvious that they didn't notice it, or if you're in a 5 stack and they're cool with it, and know that you have much better sound recognition than they do. In this clip, my teammates recognize that it's super hard to see the particles, indicating that Omen teleported to dice, and since my crosshair didn't immediately react to it, the comms helped me to clutch the round. If you do want to calm something non-urgent, do it in a calm, quiet voice to not distract them or cover in-game audio. And instead of backseating, just give them info, letting them decide what to do. In lower ranks, this is often available abilities and remaining ammo count. You have ult and molly, or 3 bullets, and then they can choose how to play around that info. In summary, concise callouts are about prioritizing information like enemy positions, numbers, and agent info. Deducing information and summarizing it can help to shorten comms. Clarify stale info. Repeat or even leave out information based on immediate threat and urgency of the situation, keeping comms concise. And avoid backseating during a clutch. That's all for today's lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the lecturer or the TAs in the comments below. Thanks for attending. We hope you enjoy your stay here at VALO U. 3 more. 1 left side as well. 1 here, 2 here. 1 unknown. Astra by tree. Could have gone into tree, not sure. Astra could be in there too. ISO on site. ISO on site, Astra stairs. Last on site. Nice one.